Hi guys, so I'm back to make another video quickly and I'm using my iPhone, so please excuse me if I'm a bit shaky, but I just wanted to address a topic that has come up. As you guys know, if you're a subscriber of mine, that I'm quite a passionate breastfeeder and that this channel is primarily about breastfeeding, and my videos are aimed at breastfeeding mothers, pregnant mothers, mothers that are hoping to breastfeed in the future, mothers that would like to breastfeed but are having some difficulties, and such like that. Now, as you know, I am pregnant with my 5th child and I'm currently breastfeeding a 2-year-old, my 2-year-old son, and I'm also breastfeeding my 4-year-old daughter. I breastfeed my 2.5-year-old very regularly every day, and I breastfeed my 4-year-old daughter occasionally. And this has caused a lot of controversy because people seem to be very confused as to why I would be breastfeeding a 4-year-old or a 2.5-year-old for that matter, when they believe that these children have a perfect digestive system and immune system, and that they're eating solids and a normal healthy diet. So why would they be breastfeeding? And this is something that I haven't really covered too much of before in the past, because I kind of thought that this was something that was known about. But what I'm kind of starting to understand is that people seem to be okay with the idea of breastfeeding, or they think they have some knowledge on breastfeeding, but they don't have that much knowledge about breast milk and the benefits of breast milk and why women would choose to extend their breastfeeding beyond, say, 6 months. So I'm going to try and address some of these topics for you now, guys, and this is all just off the top of my head, so if I get any mistakes or figures wrong, then please excuse me, and I encourage you to go and do some research for yourself and not just take my word for it. But as a breastfeeding mother, I've been breastfeeding for 4 years now straight, and I've breastfed all 4 of my children, and I plan to breastfeed my 5th child as well, God willing. So let's discuss some of these issues that people have with breastfeeding, particularly extended breastfeeding. As you will all be aware, that breast milk is always said breast is best. Breast milk is much better for your child than formula. It has wonderful antibodies and things that boost the child's immune system that are much better and more effective than, say, formula milk. Now, this is a known fact, and I'm not dissing anyone that gives their child formula. That's absolutely fine. But I think it's a given that breast milk is going to be better for your child than formula milk. Now, these benefits for the baby, for breast milk, there's so many of them that I can't even list them off on the top of my head. But they're full of antibodies and immune boosting qualities that, strengthen your baby and protect your baby from all manner of diseases and illnesses, and strengthen your baby for the rest of its life. So most people are okay with breastfeeding up until, say, 6 months. After 6 months, they seem to have this idea that you should put the baby on the bottle or wean it off breast milk or formula milk altogether. Now, this is a really dangerous idea, because all children, all babies, must rely on milk as their main source of nutrition till they are at least a year old. So even though we introduce solids to our baby around 6 months, that's about the time where the baby's digestive system can cope with introducing solids into their diet. Even though they can cope with that at 6 months, their main source of nutrition has to come from milk, whether it's breast milk or formula. So if you're a breastfeeding mother, unless you have a specific reason for changing over to formula milk, you would continue giving your baby breast milk till it's at least 12 months old, so at least a year. Now, the World Health Organization advises and recommends that you breastfeed your baby for at least 2 years, because the baby's still developing its immune system up until, about 4 or 5 really. But, they're recommending for at least 2 years. And the world average is about 3 to 4 to 5. I've read different studies which give different figures on that, depending on which part of the world you're living in. Now, we know that in the third world, women extend breastfeeding for much longer periods of time than here in the West, because they have to, because of the poverty, because of the lack of hygiene and the diseases that are spreading and stuff like that. We know that women are breastfeeding in the third world for much longer than we do here in the West. Now, the point is that here in the West we have a choice. We have readily available medicine and doctors for our children. There's, no shortage of nutritious food that your child can get from a solid foods. So we have more choice whether we can extend or not. But that doesn't take away the fact that extending breastfeeding your child is always going to be a benefit. It's never going to be something that stops being a benefit. There is a myth that says that once your child gets to about 2 years old, that the breast milk stops being efficient, it stops being a nutritional advantage. And this is simply not the case. Breast milk doesn't change and stop being full of antibodies. It doesn't turn to water overnight as soon as your child turns 2 to 2.5. Actually, science shows us that breast milk continues to benefit the child up to any age. So potentially even adults could drink breast milk and they would benefit from all of the advantages that babies get. Obviously babies need it in order to survive, adults don't, but that would still be an advantage to an adult. So for instance, an adult that has some kind of immune system deficiency, or they're lacking in certain vitamins and minerals, things like that. You take vitamins, don't you, to complement your diet in order to boost that. And so an adult, if they were to drink breast milk, would gain so much of the benefits of that. Now, I'm not talking about breastfeeding adults here. I'm talking about breastfeeding young children, toddlers. Now, the point I'm trying to make here is that breast milk is like liquid gold. It's amazing. It's like a miracle. And for anyone that thinks that a woman that breastfeeds their child past the age of 1 or 2 is weird, obviously you don't know very much about breast milk and its benefits, because that would be like saying don't give your child water because it can live off soda, when we know that our bodies need water. And okay, that's not really a very good analogy of what I'm trying to say here. Let me just go straight to some interesting facts that you probably don't know about breast milk. These are scientifically proven facts that breast milk protects babies and children against a lot of different types of cancer. And breastfeeding for the mother seriously lowers the chances of breast cancer and ovarian cancer. Now, we've heard all this before. You've probably heard it and say, yeah, I know all this. But just take a moment to consider what I'm saying here. There is something available to mothers that's free of charge that can protect them from ovarian cancer and breast cancer. Now, that's not to say just because you breastfeed you'll never get ovarian cancer, you'll never get breast cancer. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there's something that's scientifically proven to protect you and to lower your chances of getting it. Now, if there was a vitamin that you knew you could take that would protect you from ovarian cancer or protect you from breast cancer, you'd take it. In this world, 1 in 3 people get cancer. 1 in 3 people get cancer, and the majority of them do die with cancer. And there's something that's available just by breastfeeding your child that's going to protect you from that. Now, it doesn't end there. The news just keeps getting better and better and better. Science has proven that breast milk, the proteins found in breast milk, particularly one in particular, I think it's called prolactin or prolactapin, I can't remember how it's pronounced. This protein actually kills cancer cells. So the scientists, when they're doing their studies on cancer and they have them in these test tubes, they're looking at these cancer cells. They're putting these proteins that are found in breast milk onto the cancerous cells. And what are they seeing? All of the cancerous cells die, leaving behind all the healthy cells. Now, we know in things like chemotherapy and radiotherapy that in killing the bad cancerous cells, a lot of good cells get killed at the same time, making the victim very, very unwell. But it's nothing they can do about it, because if you need to have that medication, you have to have it to kill the cancer. They're finding with breast milk that the protein is killing the cancerous cells but leaving the healthy cells untouched. This is amazing. And do you know that this has been known for a long time? There's still a lot of research that has to be done on it. There's still a lot of controversy about it. There's still a lot of tests that have to be done to prove a lot of things. But one thing they do know is that proteins in breast milk do kill cancer. They also found through studies that these proteins in breast milk are known to kill up to 40 different types of cancer. 40 different types of cancer were killed through the proteins found in breast milk. This is just amazing. This is amazing news. For the past 4 years, doctors have been prescribing breast milk on a prescription to patients, to cancer patients, and seeing them improve and seeing them get better. And not just to cancer patients, people with serious immunity problems, all different types of diseases, and they're all benefiting from breast milk. Now, I think the reason why a lot of this isn't broadcasted and known about is that obviously they have to be very careful about where that breast milk's coming from, because viruses can be transferred through the breast milk. So they have to know that there's no HIV, no AIDS, no particular types of diseases that can be contracted. And like I said, viruses can be passed through. So they need to know that the source of the breast milk is a good, clean one that isn't going to compromise these sick people. But what we do know is that doctors are becoming the more studies they're doing, the more they're proving that these proteins are absolutely amazing. And a lot of people, it showed, there was a test that showed this man who had prostate cancer, and every time he took the breast milk, his levels went completely down. And if he forgot to take a dose, his levels would increase again. And so studies like that are kind of showing that there's definitely a correlation between the breast milk and the cancer and the illness. So, I mean, if you can see where I'm coming from here, that we have something that is absolutely amazing. Breast milk can kill cancer. I mean, that's even more amazing than all of the advantages of breast milk. And I mean, I could just keep going on and on and on like this, and I really should pull up loads of information so I can give you that information, that fact, and you can go to these websites and find out the actual studies that have been done in order to, confirm this to yourself. But what I'm saying is that this breast milk can help sick adults, and it protects children, and it protects the mother. And that's nothing to talk about the comfort, the joy, the love that's enjoyed between bonding between a breastfeeding mother and the child, the less chances of getting postnatal depression, the child's protection against allergies and also ear infections, chest infections, vomiting and diarrhea, which I have known from my own experience. The children that are breastfed get hardly sick in terms of sickness and diarrhea at all. Anyway, guys, I'm losing track of time, so I'm just going to round this up and say, please consider what you're saying when you're saying that breast milk isn't needed for a toddler, because it might have been needed, but it's an amazing blessing and it's an amazing thing to give your child, and that shouldn't be put down or minimised. That should be amplified. That should be, shouted from the rooftops so that more mothers will do it. Anyway, guys, I'm going to come back with another video soon, and I just wanted to share that with you, and I hope you're all well. Take care.